So when it comes to the impact of artificial intelligence, I think that there's two important things to look at. First of all, how is AI going to affect the information ecosystem at large, which is, by the way, that ecosystem is already in crisis. So I think that AI, from that perspective, is only going to amplify the crisis that we're experiencing, the lack of trust, which is at all-time lows across almost every trust metric that you can find. And, we're seeing that people are really having a hard time knowing what information is true and what information is not. Information is not backed up by sources, and there isn't enough transparency. And AI is just going to amplify this. We've already seen deep fakes. We've already seen stories that have come out where something is not true. It's just a AI generated news article or something like that people thought would get clicks. And then, people clicked, and then they found out that this, isn't even happening. This story isn't even true. So we've already seen that. And the information ecosystem is it's really going to struggle with this. From the Voronoi standpoint, I actually am very excited about AI because AI is going to enable faster content creation. And although faster content creation is one of these things that is part of what is the issue on the information ecosystem side, Voronoi actually has a mechanism that allows us to gauge the accuracy of content we compare the source with the data itself, which has to be uploaded onto the platform, to the data visualization that is being presented as well. And so all three of these things need to match. And so from the perspective of AI and worrying about misinformation and things like that, we actually will be able to screen out the stuff that doesn't meet these trust standards. And at the end of the day, what it means is that we'll have even more content. And in the content game, what you want is you want to have a lot to choose from, because when it's personalized and when you're delivering it to people, you want to be able to pull from every type of niche, and you want to give them exactly what they're interested in. And so the more options, the better. Not only that, but the really engaging, like the hit pieces of content, is really a game of averages anyways. And so the more content that exists, the higher chance you have of having that really engaging hit piece of content that everybody's talking about the next day. So that's kind of how I see AI. I see it on the broader ecosystem. I see it being a challenge, but I see Voronoi helping solve that by means of being able to actually verify that anything created by AI or assisted by AI is actually trustworthy or not. What if I told you that our goal with Voronoi is to put all of the world's public-facing data in one place? Okay, that sounds at face value probably a little bit ridiculous, but let's think it through, because firstly, we're not talking about literally all data, like some random sensor on the street tracking, foot movements or something like that. We're not talking about all data. We're talking about the public-facing kind. We're talking about what you see that's released by governments or by NGOs, by think tanks, by companies that are looking to surface their thought leadership and what they think about the world. We're talking about basically anything that is distributed publicly that people want to see. And so this is what we want to have all in one place. And it really is just this segment of the much larger data sphere, which is stuff that is already public facing. So now, is that feasible? Well, I think the key that people have missed up until this point with being able to do something like this is you have to have buy-in, and you have to have people that want to give their data to you, right? Yes, you can go try, there are solutions that try and go and scrape data and that kind of thing, which kind of works. But what you really want is you want people to be proactively submitting data to you. Now, why would people proactively submit to us data about all these different things? Well, we want to build Voronoi as the place to release and discuss and visualize and talk about data. We want to be the first place where this goes, and we want to be where the discussion happens on all this stuff. And so if you have important data and you want the world to talk about it, you're going to have to put it out through Voronoi somehow and to partner with us on that front. And that's really the only way that you're going to be able to get the maximum kind of impact from the data that you're releasing and the discussion happening. So this is something that we're thinking about and working on and trying to build that place where people want to have that data go out. The problem right now with a lot of the discussions I'm seeing, not just on LinkedIn, but in media and even when people are talking to each other directly, is the level of polarization that occurs right now. It means that the two people are dealing with two different sets of completely not overlapping facts, basically, where they're not able to find any common ground because each side of the story is totally disconnected from the other. And they literally can't even imagine why this person would believe this other thing that they can't even imagine to be even close to being true. So like, how can you even talk to this person and debate with this person, right? And so one of the things that we're trying to do with Voronoi that we're building is we're trying to create this data layer, a fundamental data layer for society that allows people to actually look at it and say, this is trusted information. This is something that is backed up by this data, by this source, by this methodology. Here's where it comes from, like complete transparency. And it's going to allow you to have a conversation with your neighbor by agreeing on, hey, this is the thing that we're actually talking about here. And there's going to be that overlapping set of data that you can actually engage in a normal discussion with someone, something that seems to not happen anymore in our current time. Basically, the Walter Cronkite of the modern era is a set of data that is verified and trustworthy. So that's one thing that we think will happen as we progress with Voronoi.